In this week's episode of Serious About Tech, we talk about the Mirai Botnet and the Spectre and Meltdown attacks against your CPU. All that and more coming up on Serious About Tech. Hello and welcome to Serious About Tech. I'm your host, Zachary Webb, and this is the podcast where we get down and dirty with technology, news, reviews, and discussion. Today, we have several things to talk about. We have the Mirai Botnet. So, what is a botnet? A botnet is a network of compromised IoT devices and unsecured computers, routers, all of that kind of thing that is controlled by a few central servers or hubs or IP addresses that hackers use to take over more devices, and then they could use those devices to attack other networks or services. So the Mirai botnet took the Dyn DNS service, which is a big DNS serving place that helps a lot of the internet work. It routes traffic for the internet in North America and Europe. So that's pretty bad. Well, just a few days ago, three university students have now been arrested for conspiracy to violate the Computer Abuse and Fraud Act. So it is Paraz Jas, Dalton Norman, and Josiah White. They all pled guilty. Now, Paraz Jas, who is a former Rutgers University student, had previously hacked into their network, into the Rutgers University network. And he also had another botnet with Dalton Norman. So he wrote the code that was used in Mirai close to July of 2016. So, he DDoSed places for money. He would try to get people to pay him. So, there is a story on Wired that says these three men started the botnet to DDoS their Minecraft competition as they ran a Minecraft server. So, you can read that. There's a link on my website in the show notes. And the show notes are at seriousaboutTech.com/6. Or you can get straight to the story at seriousaboutTech.com/wiredbotnet. And I'd like to break here to tell you about the sponsor, Web Services. So, Web Services by webco.us. You can find it at seriousaboutTech.com/WWS. It's my business, and I will design a website for you. I will develop it. It can be a WordPress. It can be a business website, it can be a blog, it can be whatever. I would love to do that for you. And because you listen to this podcast, you get a 10% off by going to seriousaboutTech.com/WWS and using the coupon code podcast10. Okay, now we'll go on to your security brief. This is the segment we talk about all different kinds of security exploits and news about the security industry in dealing with technology, and especially consumer technology. So there's these two new exploits. Well, they aren't new, but two exploits against computer processors called Spectre and Meltdown. So they are two related vulnerabilities in modern computer processors that hackers could use to get your passwords and other information on your computer that they normally would not have access to. They would normally not be able to get to these different things. So it's pretty bad. And so here's how they work. Spectre exploits speculative branch prediction in the computer, whereas Meltdown uses a privilege escalation attack. And that's mostly on Intel processors. So speculative branch prediction is a methodology used by modern CPUs that basically guesses what you're going to do next. So it thinks you might do this, or you could do this, So it will guess you're going to do this one or this one. So it will compute what could happen, and it goes and it does that. And if you don't go down that road, then that's fine. But if you do, it can speed your computer up. So it could speed your computer up from as much as 5 to 30 or 10 to 50, or it doesn't always speed up all that much, but okay. And then Meltdown takes advantage of the fact that CPUs can do out of order execution. So an out of order execution is basically where computers will process one thing at the same time as they do something else that is unrelated, but the thing that is related that they're doing can wait till they have the resources to actually do it. So it basically makes your CPU much more efficient. So this Spectre attack works against Intel, AMD, and ARM. And ARM is the chips used in phones, IoT devices, some laptops now. So it's pretty bad against all those. And Meltdown is verified to work against Intel processors as far back as 1995. So it's something that's just wrong with the way that they work, pretty much. So to mitigate these, you should definitely update your computer to the latest version. You should get all your patches on your phones, on your tablets, on your computers, on all your devices. And you can read more about these attacks at spectreattack.com or meltdownattack.com. And also the link is in the show notes in case there is a hard time trying to spell Spectre or Meltdown Attack. There's links on the website. Okay, so next I'd like to talk about what's going to come up on this podcast. So hopefully in the next few episodes I can talk about CES, which is a Consumer Electronics Show, which they don't call it that now, but it's just called CES. It's where a lot of new laptops and all kinds of devices get released and announced. So I will be talking about different things that came out in that, all the cool new stuff that comes in that. And then in about a month, there will be Mobile World Congress, which is where all kinds of new phones come out. So we'll see what kind of phones come out of that, and we can talk about that. But I would like this podcast to be consistent. I would like to do it twice a month for you listeners, because I want to give you consistent things, and it could help me stay current in the tech industry as well. So if you would like to help me, you can send your feedback, your encouragement, or whatever you want to say to podcast@seriousobouttech.com, or you can call in 260-740-3392, or use the contact form on the website. Also, if you like to support me, then go to seriousobouttech.com/support, and you can support me on Patreon, which is where you pay a certain amount of money and you get things from me, and you also help me out a lot. So I love it if you would do that. And also be sure to follow me and the show. You can follow me twitter.com/thezacharywebb, and the web has 2 B's. And you can follow the show, which I would encourage you to do. That's twitter.com/SeriousTechShow, and we're also on Google Plus and LinkedIn. So be sure to subscribe. You can subscribe on iTunes or Apple Podcasts by going to seriousobouttech.com/iTunes or /Apple Podcasts. You can go to seriousobouttech.com/Android to subscribe on Android. We're also on TuneIn, Stitcher, and Google Play. You can find them on their respective podcast marketplaces. And I'd like to thank you for listening and downloading it. It means a lot. So we will see you next time. I'm Zachary Webb, and be sure to browse the site at seriousobouttech.com. We'll see you next week.